Hey folks, how you doing? My name is Sean Simpkins. I'm a licensed and bonded public adjuster here in Florida, and I'm making this video because I wanted to address something I didn't even realize that this was happening, and I think I can safely say most people didn't even know that this was happening. What's happening is that a law has gone into effect today, September 1st, that was passed in Texas right after Texans have gone through this terrible disaster that they just gone through, and God forbid the possibility of it happening again soon in the future. But Texas lawmakers have just passed this bill. It's called House Bill 1774, which is now a law. But basically, what it's doing, it's cutting the penalties that insurance companies have to pay in terms of litigation. So, in other words, when a homeowner files a lawsuit because the insurance company is, in layman's terms, dragging their feet, uh, refusing to pay for things that they should pay for, and otherwise showing what we call in the industry bad faith towards a homeowner's claim, which is rampant. It's rampant. A person like me should not even have a job in this career field. But because it's so rampant, it developed the industry of private adjusters. They're called public adjusters, but private adjusters like myself and attorneys who specialize in defending policyholders against these predatory insurance industry practices. And in homeowners insurance, this is homeowners property and commercial insurance. These are some of the biggest places where this behavior is practiced. It should be called what it is, fraud. But for some reason, there's been no widespread uh, 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 outcry against these practices of harassing homeowners, dragging their feet, dragging lawsuits out for years, and other delay, deny, and defend tactics that these insurance companies use to pressure homeowners either into not getting the money that they are rightfully due for their claim, or dragging it out so far as to make it basically to make it extremely difficult for the policyholders. So basically, let me read this article from CNN Money that obviously was posted a couple of days ago. It was posted on the 28th. Now it's got a little bit of news coverage, but nowhere near the amount of news coverage for the effect that it's going to have on policyholders. This is going to have a huge effect. Right now, in this situation, they had Texas. This is insidious. Texans should be outraged right now because they had the nerve to do this. They had the nerve to do this right when Texans are going to need, right when Texans are going to need the most protection against predatory practices of insurance companies, especially homeowners insurance companies. And so they pass these laws. Now this is going to affect hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of families in Texas now, and it's going to affect tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions of people. When you think about in Texas anyway, hundreds of millions of people. When you think about that the law is going to affect those homeowners in the future for, God forbid, however much time, however long this law stays on the book to come in Texas. So anyway, just real quick, let me go over this article, and I wish that I had seen this a few days ago, because I would have been all over the place trying to tell the Texas people to file your claims immediately. File your claims immediately because your government is screwing you in Texas. Your local politicians, the politicians who voted for this, is screwing you in Texas. And what you need to do is you really need to consider who did this to you when it's time for they need to get out of office, and you need to look at all of the businesses and all of the commercial interests that they're connected to, and you need to make those politicians answer because they just took money out of the pocket of hundreds of thousands at the very least, but more on average, probably millions of Texas hardworking Texas homeowners, and they should be made to account for it. And sometime in the future, this law needs to change. But let's just take a real quick look at it. I'm going to read the article. This is CNN Money. Once again, this article was posted August 28th. When that law has been on the books, that should have been an issue weeks ago. That should have been an issue when they knew it was coming up about weeks ago. But anyway, it says law urges Texas homeowners to file Harvey claims before law change. I mean, it's not automatic. These are people doing this to other people. I mean, this is not some mystery. This is politician people doing it to hardworking people who put them in office. So anyway, the article goes on. Attorney and Texas lawmakers are urging homeowners to try and file for property damage inflicted by Hurricane Harvey before Friday, when a new insurance law goes into effect. The law will impact policyholders who file a lawsuit against the insurance company for failing to pay enough in claims and repaying claims too slowly. Like I said, this is a very common practice in the industry. It should not be, which is to delay, deny, and defend. Let me read on. It requires plaintiff attorneys to offer more detail when I'm assuming they meant when they give notice of the intent to file a lawsuit. If insurance companies must pay damages, the law will reduce the amount of penalty interest they owe from 18% to about 10%. So basically, what they're doing is they're cutting the attorney's fees in half. They're cutting the penalty fees in half. So they just save the politicians just help the big insurance companies save a huge amount of money in defending themselves from bad practices, bad faith that they are committing against homeowners. And they just save themselves a ton of money. That means that they can drag your claim out for another year if they want to. And now, since there's less incentives for attorneys to deal with these claims, they're going to be less likely to want to take you on as a client. So you're going to have a harder time getting the insurance companies to do what they are supposed to do and do the right thing by your claim. Let me read on. Supporters of the House Bill 1774, which becomes law September 1st, which is today, say the legislation will reduce the amount of frivolous lawsuits filed on behalf of the policyholders against their insurance companies. Opponents argue it will weaken consumer rights. Let me stop right here. They use this excuse that it will stop frivolous lawsuits, as if the attorneys are encouraging policyholders to file frivolous lawsuits. Let me tell you, as an insurance professional now, I've been doing this for about 7 years now. Let me tell you, as an insurance professional, the lawsuit is not frivolous if you have property damage covered by your policy. Attorneys only get involved when the insurance company do not want to pay the correct amount to repair your property. It's not frivolous. The first check that you get from the insurance company, these insurance company, as a practice, as a regular practice all across the country, these insurance companies pay you a little bit of money. And they truly expect you to repair your property for that little bit of money. And on top of that, those who are starting this new industry practice that's cropped up since I started, which is within the last, I'd say about 4 or 5 years, it's become a really popular practice that they use managed repair systems. So, and these managed repair systems are basically where they use cheap labor to make the repairs. So the point is that you, Texas, you have just been screwed. You should be outraged, and you need to absolutely make those people who did this be held to account.